Today we've got Marcus Davis coming along. He's a character, to say the least. I first got to know Marcus in 1990 when he burst onto the paintball scene with his Predator team and won the biggest European competition at the time, which was the Man Championships. He was a dark horse at the time. No one knew much about him or his team. What we did know didn't give us any indication that they would win. Not only did they win, they went on to dominate the UK scene and the European scene for probably about 10 years, which is an unbelievable accomplishment. Marcus's character is an exceedingly dominant one, and he uses that to inspire people around him and to lead. He's a fantastic leader. People would do anything for him. You know, if there was a real battle going on somewhere, either in a war or in a pub fight, you'd want him there because he would inspire the people around him and he would win. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So Marcus certainly was one of the leading characters in European paintball, but it didn't stop there with Marcus. He had aspirations much bigger than the UK scene. He wanted to be one of the top teams and top players in the world, and at the time we had the dominance of the Americans, who would come across to England and man and bash the shit out of us prior, and Marcus didn't like that and set about organising his team to go over there and take it to the Yanks. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this interview is because I wanted the guys on paintballer.com to meet someone who's been there and done it, and I mean really done it. I'm not talking about going over there and playing in wishy-washy leagues over there and playing as against competing. Marcus competed at the very top. Now, we can all compete at different levels in paintball, as in any other sport, but when I'm talking about competing, and I think the aspirational side of the UK baller, when anybody else talks about competing, you should be competing at the top. That's what we're all aiming for. And Marcus did both. He aspired to it and went and done it. And he'll tell you how close he got, and he'll flesh out the skullduggery and chicanery that kept him and his team from assuming the #1 position in the world at that time, which he no doubt was. But basically, 2 American teams cheated, conspired against him. Now, all the bollocks that's talked about, as you'll find out later on, there's a lot of gossip generated around certain events. I know this to be true, what Marcus was going on about when he came back to the UK and said he had been cheated out of first place into second, because one of the conspirators in that chicanery admitted it to me quite openly, and basically because I was playing on his team. I played over in the States just after all this with Aftershock and the All Americans, so I had the inside track on what went on. So much as I didn't like to hear it, that Marcus was the #1 team, a bit of me was quite proud. I didn't particularly like it because he was my arch nemesis at the time, and you'll hear some of the things that went on in paintball which weren't too good, but it all went to shape our beloved sport in the UK. So I think some of you may remember a couple of months ago when we had this problem on the boards when Twiz took the Tigers team over to Orlando, and I jumped in on the thread and pissed a few people off like I normally do. I didn't mean to insult anybody or to diss anybody, but my comments seemingly did that. Now, this was one of the reasons why I brought Marcus in, because I want UK baller to have aspirations above what was going on over there, and it wasn't so much what the guys were doing over in the States, the Tigers, it was the reaction of the people back here and giving it the hoo-ha, yeah, take it to the Yanks. And I've seen another side of UK paintball that aspires a lot more than a 4th or 5th division assault on the Americans. I aspired as a player to be at the top, and I played at the top, and Marcus did, and he succeeded in both. Did so with Nexus as well, and the Tigers did 5 or 6 years ago when they were competing at the very top. So let's just get another perspective on what really is success, UK success, and I'm not talking about some bollocky fucking assault on 5th Division Yank paintball. So let's get on with it. You should be here in about an hour. So I suppose I've got to lock up my doors, and as one bloke said, I forget who it was, on the thread or in a PM, he said I've got to put a litter tray in the corner of my house because Marcus has got these abilities, or habits should we say, of dropping faeces everywhere he goes. So if he doesn't do it today, there'll be problems. Right, here we go. So we've got Marcus here. This is Marcus.
Hello.
Like I said, I've given an intro to this about 10 minutes ago with Deb doing it. Yeah. So we'll start. We've got a load of questions from the guys on the site. So I'm going to start off, and then probably at the end I'll do these, but I might do some as we go along. But if we go back to 1990, was that the first time you guys come to Homebush?
That's it,
no.
For the first tournament?
Yeah, the one that we won.
The first 90, wasn't it? 1990.
1990, but that was down
that was a main one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Main Masters.
I can't remember where it was. Jerry Ward Barber's.
Yeah, that was up at Fimia.
Fimia, that's it.
Fimia,
because
Oxfordshire.
As I said to the guys, you weren't favourites going into that tournament. You were just about coming onto the scene, weren't you?
Yeah, we was respected by other teams, but we hadn't quite sort of worked out the winning formula. We used to draw a lot of games.
I think you'd won one event going in, but no one took that as an indicator, did they?
No, we was always a difficult team to beat, but we didn't get many victories either.
So what do you think changed that one? Because you blasted everybody, I remember. I mean, you blasted us off the field.
I think what it was just what I basically done. I sat down and analysed the game, and I don't think I left any single part of the game to chance. It was every single little sort of advantage we could have. We had, i.e. camo, face, in them days face paint, hats with camouflage on the hats. Hoppers used to be camouflaged, and what a lot of people did at the Finmere site, it was very, very overgrown, and there was a lot of foliage. And we was very, very good. Where the tactics was that I would have looked at the fields and could see that anybody kneeling up or standing up couldn't shoot downwards because the foliage was too dense. Yeah. So I basically devised a tactic of going out and we was all crawling. The whole tent, with the exception of Phil Ham and possibly one other player, 8 of us were on our bellies. People couldn't see us. They couldn't see us.
I remember
crawled into people.
As your team matured through the years, I don't think that was a tactic that you kept. Obviously it worked in that event because you blasted everybody. But certainly as you went on, you were the one team that I knew would come at me. Because most teams, we were the Army, you were the Preds, you would know that teams dig in against you. So if you were thought to be better, then teams wouldn't attack you. But no matter what game we played you in, you'd always come for us. And you must have done that to everybody.
Yeah, what we did, and I remember now as job, I remember in the Finmere tournament, what we basically done, we went out, the idea was to obviously engage, and what we basically done, we all had game timers, which believe it or not in them days was a new thing. And we was every single, maybe on other teams, 1 or 2 players had game timers, every single one of my players had them.
So you always knew where you
exactly what the time was, and that was when we was famous for it. I cried Zulu. The whole team got up at a time. We was left alive on the field, got up and attacked, and we turned around and said, "What we do if we can't shoot the team off the field before the game's ended, we will all get up and attack within the last minute." Anything before then was too quick.
But generally speaking, Mark, you'd done the business before then with most teams. You'd knocked them down.
We had, but it wasn't. What it was, I think, a lot of the better teams, to be truthful, had played into our hands because they come out. They was a bit blasé. They was kneeling up, standing up. Yeah. We was kneeling down, and one by one we picked them off. But the lesser teams that used to dig in, because what we did as well, we didn't win every single game. My tactic there was I knew full well we wasn't good enough to beat every team, but I went for consistency.
You went to winning the tournament against beating every team.
What I'd done then as well, I started playing the scoreboard. I would know exactly how many players I had to shoot out.